PCOS podcast.
Hello and welcome back. This episode, it's going to air in the beginning of March, and that's Women's History Month. And so I kind of just wanted to go into depth with that again. But for those that are new to our podcast, this is your host, Anna.
Michelle.
Molly. And Melissa.
Yay! And then we are a group of sisters just that like to talk a lot about everyday issues and stuff like that. And but yeah, so we will get started with this episode. So I, like I said, wanted to talk about women's history in general and stuff, and so I did a little research, a little homework. But first and foremost, you need to make sure that the women in your life are being cared for, and that you to check on them, because even though they look like they're really strong and they've got it together, they might not. So make sure you hold them close.
Yes. No, I was just agreeing with
Yes.
you.
Because as I, dived deep into my research, found out that the number one leading cause of death for women is heart disease, guys. Do you guys know that?
No, I didn't know that.
Sounds reasonable.
They say it's because women internalize our stress, our emotions, and stuff like that to where we basically put pressure and stress on our bodies, our hearts, and we basically just, we literally can die from stress.
Yes.
Oh, makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
Stress, as a Running Man used to say.
He just, doesn't he hit himself? Stress.
Yeah.
Yes. So that's good, and thank you for the input, Michelle. Because I think that also women, we're just like society-wise, I think we're just all conditioned to keep things bottled in, and also I think it's because we also have a higher pain tolerance too because of our menstrual cycles.
Yes.
So yeah, so that's like just a little fun fact. I'm gonna throw some hot potato, or I don't know how to say it, like quick facts at you too while I'm doing this. But since the subject is centered around women and in Women's History Month, I want to talk also about PCOS as well. So that's something that the girls know is really close and dear to me, because I am someone that's I don't want to say suffer, but I have PCOS, and it's not really talked about in our Hmong community out there. But yeah, so PCOS, for those that don't know, it's called polycystic ovarian syndrome. And it's basically a condition where women have an imbalance of hormones, and that messes like a whole sorts of things in your body. From the way that your body functions to, the obvious, which is, fertility too. But to truly understand PCOS, I think it's also important to talk about, the menstrual cycle, one of the most taboo topics of all.
Yeah.
So I wanted to kind of open up the discussion and ask you guys, what was your experience like finding out, like the first moment, I should say, moments that you found out you had your period? How did it go? So before we jump into that, because I'm going to ask Molly to go first, is throw some hot facts. And I don't know if you guys knew, but let me do this. I feel so Capricorn, like going through my notes. So the average age actually that a woman gets their period is between the years of 8 to 15 years old.
Oh, I didn't know it was that young.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty
So
young.
it's as young
It
as 8 years old.
There would always be, well, in elementary school, there would always be like 11 to 12 is usually when you first start.
And my first of all, it's from a reputable source. Okay, I got mine from womenshealth.org. So look it up, Google it.
I think like recently, yeah, it's been younger.
I feel like it's
all
also
those hormones
in
from
all
the
the
chickens
food,
and
yeah.
all that stuff.
I
Yeah,
think
it's all
so
that stuff
too.
in the food.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's one of the hot facts is that, you can get it as early as 8 years old to 15 years old. And, it's actually, I've met a lot of Hmong girls in our community that they actually get it pretty young too, around that age, like 5th grade and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Yeah.
but yeah, that's one of the little hot facts. Like I said, I'll be throwing it here and there. So, I would like to ask the baby of the group, Molly, what was it like for you when you first had your menstrual cycle? Because I want to see if we can dive into that and then explain it so that way you understand why it's so important to me and everything else. So, Molly,
I'm trying to remember when I got it first.
whatever you can remember.
Okay, the only thing I remember was, I'm gonna say this. It was like this Hmong party or sport event that was happening at this. I don't know. It was a long time ago. I think it was the Hmong Viv party or something. We were at like this park soccer field or something. Do you remember that?
We went to a lot of
Yeah, we
home
went to a
parties
lot.
back then.
all
We
I
had to
remember,
go.
all I remember was we were in the soccer field and we were one of the first ones there because we had to help them set up.
Okay.
And then I think when I went to the porta potty, there was like maybe like patches of blood, but it wasn't like major. And so this was like after I think 5th grade because I was just like, what the hell is that? Is it starting? Because we were in the middle of a soccer field and I didn't have anything.
Oh my God.
And so I was just like, and then just use paper towel or toilet paper for now.
Just in case.
Just in case. But then that was the only part I remember that my period actually like showing a little bit. But other than that, I think that was the only time I remember.
So I kind of wanted to ask. Oh, sorry. Were you going to say something?
I was gonna say something stupid. but-
Go ahead. Just say it.
Well, I was saying,
So
was the park by Grandma's house?
I don't remember. All I remember
Oh.
it was a weird soccer field that I've never been before.
Were we selling food?
I don't know if we were selling food.
Oh, probably not. I'm
All I
thinking
remember
something
is
else.
that I would always see the Vu people like at the party, and I'm just like, or not the party, at the field. I'm like, I don't know if it was like a sports thing, but we were doing something there with all the Vu and Tao people there.
Okay, I don't remember.
And
Sorry.
I think you were there. You and Matthew. I don't know. I don't know.
I'm
if
pretty
Mitchell
sure I
and them
was
were.
there.
That was when Mitchell and them were in their skateboard era.
Yeah.
Michael and Mitchell and them were in their skateboard era. That's
Well,
all.
yes, this is probably when I was like, what, 16, 17?
Yeah.
So, yeah, I was there because I had no
We were
car.
forced to go.
Yeah. I was
That's
there.
what it
That's
was.
like a fun thing about, being in Hmong families. It's like, you got to go. No matter. Your parents got to go
Like,
and cook food, do all that stuff.
They brought us there, but then we couldn't really do anything.
It's always like that, though.
So we would just walk around.
You're just there.
Do nothing.
But anyway, to go back on what you said, because, like, our main mission almost, for this podcast is to give other, Hmong people and also other Hmong girls specifically a look into it, who doesn't have any sisters or like don't have that many friends or just need a close knit of Hmong sisters to kind of like relate to. So you were saying when you saw your first experience for your period, saw patches of blood and you were freaking out.
Yeah, it was kind of just like spotting. Like I knew, like I think around that time I was kind of feeling kind of weird, so I kind of knew that it was coming. I just didn't know when and how it was. So and then when I saw the spotting, I was just like, it's coming.
So since you said that already, you already knew, because I know that in school they teach about your body.
Well, they teach you that
puberty.
stuff, and they kind of tell you kind of like what you expect during your first period.
Mm-hmm.
So they kind of tell you like you may feel like this or this.
Do you remember, or you not that much
Of
just like your experience? Because I'm trying to think if there are any girls out there who don't have their period yet, or someone like that's listening.
I think,
Or
honestly, I don't really remember it, but I do
Mhm.
know that like the cramping and everything. I don't think mine was that big or that like horrible as most girls are. But I don't know.
Okay.
But then again, remember I had really abnormal menstruations throughout my years. So
Oh, I didn't know you had an irregular cycle.
yeah, I had
Oh.
like irregular cycles for a while. I think they were normal until I got wait. No,
When you got sick.
yeah, when I got sick. I'm trying to think.
They were
Yeah.
normal up until you got sick and then it changed.
I think so. Or maybe that, or maybe like a few months, like a year or two, like before that too, is when they started to change.
Okay.
But then again, they do tell you like in the first menstruation stuff, it could be up to a month or like every 2 months because it's still technically in the beginning of your menstrual cycle.
Oh, yeah,
stuff.
because no matter what, it's going to be kind of irregular.
Yeah.
Okay.
So that's what they were taught us. Because I remember I was telling the doctor one time. She asked me when was my recent menstrual cycle, and I was telling her maybe like 2 months ago. And she's like, "Oh, okay, you're still young, so it's probably still like developing and stuff and everything." So I was like, "Oh, okay." So I was like, I figured every 2 months was fine.
How old were you again? You don't remember, but you know it was after 5th grade?
I would say somewhere middle school. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, thanks for sharing that. Were you scared?
No.
You weren't? Were you just kind of like, great, I got nothing?
I think because the only time I was scared, I think was when I was like really heavy.
Oh.
Yeah.
I'm sure it helped too that you had like 2 older sisters.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I know we didn't talk about it at
No,
all, but like you just know because you're around your sisters, so you know they have a period, so you're kind of like, okay, well, that means I should expect to have mine
Yeah.
sometime soon. So when you did have yours, it wasn't that big of a shocker because it's like, oh, okay,
Yeah, and then it didn't have that mom. She'd always buy like the big heavy flow pads, and I'm just
the
like,
dappers.
yeah, and I'm just like, dang, these are huge.
I think it's just normal because my mom had those too. I remember playing in them. Like, not the dirty
like I would
ones,
see them,
the-
and I'm just like, what is this?
I'll be like, what is that?
Back then, they only had like 2 kinds. They
Yeah.
had the really thick one, and they had like the really, really thin one.
yeah, I remember that.
And
Yeah,
I'm like, the thin one's not gonna do it for me.
Yeah.
yeah.
Well, and then like after we kind of talk about our own like first experience with having a period, I was gonna ask you guys something else too. But yeah,
Okay.
so well, thanks for sharing, Molly. What about you, Liz? How was your experience? Like,
I
tell me all the
remember.
details because me
I
too.
remember. So, it was at church.
Because
It
it's
was also
traumatic
church.
to
Yeah.
me. For me,
'Cause-
yeah. It was yours?
Well, it wasn't traumatic for me. It was more of I don't know what the hell is happening. Because I mean, yeah, I remember in 5th grade we talked about the whole your body changing kind of thing,
Yeah.
and I was like, okay, yeah, cool, whatever. But it didn't really happen for me until 6th grade.
Okay.
I remember this specifically because remember in 6th grade, back to our therapy episode, episode 2? Talked about how lonely I was in 6th grade.
Yeah.
And so the only time I got to talk to my childhood friends was like on the bus kind of thing. And so,
Oh, I remember that.
and so feeling lonely in 6th grade. And then I told one of my quote unquote best friends, because we've been friends since like kindergarten. So I told her that like, oh my God, I started my period, you know, like a happy thing.
Yeah.
You know, and she goes, ew, why did you tell me that?
Oh my god.
And then after she said that to me, I was kind of like,
So it's
okay.
a bad thing? Is what
Yeah, I
it
was
is?
like, okay. And so I kind of even felt even more lonely
Oh.
because this was something that I wanted to share,
Yeah.
you know. But anyways, that's why I remember it was in 6th grade.
Damn,
I would say that's traumatic.
that's traumatic.
Yeah,
Who the
but
hell is your mom? You know, that's what I would have said.
It wasn't a big girl; it was a white girl.
It was
so
probably
I
just
guess.
because you were in a public place and
I
everyone
think it
could hear
was
y'all.
also because since I'm kind of, I guess I'm older, my body developed more than I guess
Than
hers
theirs.
did, and so she didn't really understand.
Yeah.
Oh.
But anyways, but before her, when it first started, it was a Sunday because we went to church,
Oh my god.
and I think I came to church with Mom. I don't know what happened, but Mom came to church late that day. Maybe she was probably cooking or something. I don't remember. But I came with Mom, and I was in the car, and we drove up to church, and I was like, my stomach hurts. And my mom was all like, what do you mean it hurts? And I'm like, it just hurts. I don't know what it is, but it just hurts. And she was like, well, maybe it's just because maybe you ate something bad. But to those girls out there, if your stomach hurts, okay, like not a normal stomach ache, 'cause usually stomach aches are like higher up on your stomach. But when you're cramping, it's lower.
It's lower. It's below your,
Like below
belly,
your
button.
belly button.
Yes. Yeah, it's below your belly button.
Kind of feels like you had a doo-doo.
Someone's like jabbing,
But
you
not
down
really.
below.
Yeah, that feeling like you're gonna have diarrhea almost.
Yes.
It's like that.
kinda like
that really bad cramp feeling.
Yeah, it's down there, okay, left or right side, okay.
Yeah,
Yes.
it happens on either
So-
side.
Yeah, so I didn't know that's how cramps are supposed to feel, and so I kept telling Mom, I was like, my stomach hurts, it really, really hurts. And then she kind of just brushed it off as if because I think that morning too, I didn't want to go to church, because I think she just thought that I was being an attitude-y teenager.
You're being lazy.
Yeah, and so she didn't think much of it, and so I finally went to the bathroom, because I was like, maybe I gotta go poop this out or something, so I went to the bathroom, and then I used the restroom, and I wiped, and that's when I saw it. And then I saw my underwear. I saw the brown splotches on it, and I was like, "Oh, I started my period." And I was like, "Oh, this is what it feels like to start your period," you know. And then finally, I went to I think I went to Mom. I got a pad from her, the big ass ones. I got a pad from her, and I wore it. And then I ran into Michelle, and I told Michelle, and I was like, I started my period. And then she's like, oh my God, congratulations.
Yes.
You know, and then I started crying, and Michelle's like, why are you crying?
I don't know.
Oh my God, I'm about to cry now. But
Aw.
I don't know. And so I think that's when I was talking to my friend on the bus, and that's when she was like, ew.
Well,
Hug her for me.
At least you had that good experience though with Michelle
I do
first.
remember that.
I think that's probably also what traumatized her too, because one person was happy and the other person wasn't.
That's what I'm saying. First of all, who
don't
are
have
these
tissue.
people that are your friends?
I was like, who's raising you? You know? I mean, I get it as that generation. The parents at that time probably just didn't talk about it because it was taboo.
Well, she said it was a white girl, so.
Well, I know, but I know white people, moms like that, probably there are some that don't talk about it.
Yeah.
You know? So.
Wow.
Out of
Dang.
habit.
Well, no wonder you remember.
Yeah.
Wow. Dang.
But yeah, that was my period story.
Dang.
Well, I remember. Yeah.
See, this is why we need to talk more about, like our experiences in womanhood, our menstrual cycles, our mental health struggles, and also, honestly, anything. And that's also why women live longer anyway, because we already to a certain point share our struggles with each other, but at the same time, we need to share more or be more open too. Like, learn to be more vulnerable, as Liz says. So, wow. Well, thank you for sharing that.
Yeah, you're welcome.
And I'm glad that you got that really positive experience first before you got that negative experience.
Yeah.
Because, the way that you shared with Michelle was actually how my sisters and I did too. So I explained on my turn, I'll go into more depth. But, yeah. So, now, Michelle the mom. Meow.
Well, since I don't remember the exact moment that I started, but being the oldest, of course, the only education or info that I got was from, the 5th grade talk that you get every.
Was y'all an actual talk?
Yeah, they
It was like a
separated
video.
you.
Yeah.
Ours
they
was just
separated
a
the girls and
video.
the guys.
And like half of us was not even paying attention until it said your breasts get bigger, and that's when you're like,
Yeah, I think it was a video.
What? You heard? Oh, you guys were not paying attention until you heard your breast get
it's 'cause,
larger.
it's like
then
the
go
lady was like very boring when she was talking about it, and then like they finally just were at the point where they're telling you like what are things that are gonna be different on you, which the number one thing was your boobs are gonna get bigger.
It's probably you guys were tuning her out, and then that was such a traumatic thing to say to little kids. So they're like, "What?"
And I mean, like they didn't really tell us either. They just kind
Yeah.
of separated us and then played the video.
Yeah,
I know the teacher that we were in the room with. I think it was Miss Brissy. She actually like brought out a pad and showed
Same
me
here.
how to.
I
like,
had that
Nope.
too.
Put it on.
Wow.
None
Yeah,
of us
no,
did that.
We had we watched a video, and then then the teacher who was in the room with us, the female teacher, would show us
It was really nice of
what
them.
to do, and then explained it a little bit more.
Brought like a granny panty out and did it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Either that, or I just never paid attention.
Yeah, and they were saying stuff like, like from your age right now till like a few years later, you can start anytime, and sometimes you won't even know. And I remember after we had that class, I had to go to the bathroom because I had to pee. And then there was another girl that was in the bathroom first, and they also gave us samples of pads.
Right.
Oh,
Yeah.
I remember
I
that.
thought that
yeah.
was fun. Getting gifts.
Yeah. So we got little samples of pads, just so we can get more familiar with it. But anyway, I was in the bathroom, I was peeing, and then I was hearing, the crinkly paper of
Yes.
the pad wrapper. So I'm sitting there thinking like, what? And so being nosy, I like bent down and I kind of looked.
Oh my god. That's kind of scary to see someone stare at you.
Jeez. But no, listen.
Okay, go ahead.
I wasn't doing it to be, pervy or anything because
No,
I
I
was just
know.
curious.
Yes, I
I
know.
was a 5th grader. I was like 10 years old.
I mean,
Yeah.
I would have done the
Anyway.
same thing.
It wasn't the stall right next to me. It was the next stall.
Okay, that's why I was saying
Okay.
that makes more
So-
sense to lean over and look.
Yeah, so I just kind of leaned down to look, and and the girl that was there, she was already putting a pad on, and I was thinking maybe it wasn't because she started, but the fact that I think what the teacher said kind of scared her, like it can start anytime, So I think she was just putting it on there as like a what do you
Be
call it?
safe?
Yeah, just to be safe.
That's a precaution?
Yeah.
Oh.
Because they say that you bleed, so of course if you don't have a pad and you bleed through everything.
Which I've seen like
So-
in middle school
Yeah.
where like it'll just go through all of them, and the girl's like is not aware, and I'm just like,
Yeah,
Is
my
it
period
really
has
like
never,
that?
My period has never started that heavy.
like I've seen sometimes like in
Some
the
girls
hallways,
bleed.
like they'll
more like
bleed, but then
that.
like they're not aware that it's bleeding.
They probably think they're sweating, but if it's like that, it's like I would think I peed myself.
Yeah,
Nope. For me, I could always feel when I'm on my period. Even when I first started, it was not super heavy, but it was a good enough flow to where I know that I'm on it.
it was just wet down there and then normal.
Yeah.
That was just made you aware.
Yeah. So I know I started same time as you in 6th grade. I was like 11 or so
Okay.
is when I started, and when I started, I remember going to my mom and telling her I need a purse.
Wait, you just said I need a purse?
Yeah. I was like, I need
Oh.
a purse, Mom. She's like, why do you need a purse? And I told her, I was like, well, because I started my period and I need a way to carry my pads to the bathroom without, waving it around.
Oh yeah, Mom was very
So smart.
cautious of whipping the pad out.
Oh, yeah, that too. Yeah, because we grew up with, with our conservative mom, Hmong mom. So she always taught us, to be secretive about all that
That's the
stuff.
thing too. Here, now listen here. This is a PSA to you girls or anyone that menstruates, okay?
Or guys.
Yeah. Well, that's why I
Oh,
said that
yeah.
whoever what you identify it. Anyone that menstruates. Don't be afraid. It's not taboo. It's nothing to be ashamed or embarrassed about, because listen here, all these people that if they do shame you and make fun of you, how did they get here without someone shedding their lining first of all? So yeah.
Remembering Mom is either like folded in half and she goes here, or like
Oh, so
she'll like
cute.
roll it and she'll be like,
Yeah.
come here,
Yeah.
Here.
Aww.
Like she's dealing drugs or something.
Right. I'm just like the pastor's wife's dealing pads, like dealing drugs.
she's like, just don't let anyone see. I'm just like, I'm going to the bathroom. They know what I'm doing.
Yeah.
So she just rolled it up. Here.
Because I remember going to the bathroom with like Mom when we were younger, and when she's like on her period, she like opens it like very quietly,
Oh.
and I'm like, Mom, just go.
It's like,
Well-
it's just us.
I know.
To be fair, they probably like a lot of that. It was like I said, it's a taboo thing. You don't
Yeah.
talk about it, and I think also at that time, I'm pretty sure that men were like, "Oh, parent,
Men
parent,
aren't.
oh my god, parent."
They still are.
They still are.
Yes,
Men
so
are.
some of them are right.
Mhm.
But yeah, sorry, I didn't interrupt you.
Oh no, you're fine. You're fine. Yeah. So I told her I needed a purse,
Mm-hmm.
and so she took me to the store. I don't know if any of y'all remember. I feel hella old saying this store's name, but we went to Mervyn's.
Wow.
I don't.
I don't remember that.
Well, it used to be.
Oh, I remember Mervyn.
Yeah,
I remember Mervyn.
Yeah, it used to be where where is it? That little plaza where that the Genesis gym is, where Baker Street used to be.
Nope.
Where that new the new Chinese place.
Chengdu.
Yeah, that Chengdu
Oh,
place.
Chengdu place.
Yes, that's where Mervyn's used to be.
Oh.
Yeah.
Wow.
So
Did not know that.
yeah. So we went to Mervyn's and picked out a cute little square purse that had like a little butterfly charm on it.
Aww.
And then I took it to school. And then I remember writing a note to my best friend at the time. And I pretty much say, I basically told her, I got a new purse. Guess why I got a new purse? I was watching her read it from across the room. And I saw her like this and like started writing it.
Okay,
they
so
don't do
those
that no
kids
more.
that were born after, that's how they texted it.
Oh,
In the days, back in the days. Because they're like, why would you write it? Don't you text? No. That's
No.
how we communicate, okay?
Yes.
Notes.
Through notes.
notes.
Fold it all
we
nicely
still do
and
that.
cute.
We did that like up to like maybe.
I know, but it was more
Middle school.
like you gotta do a fancy font style when you write. You gotta fold it in a certain way.
You
so they
fold
can
it in like an
unfold it.
origami.
Yes.
Yeah, origami.
Yeah. That's pretty cool.
Oh, that's so cute. So you saw your friend's reaction?
Yeah, I did.
Aw.
At least it didn't go to the right. It went to the right person. not to
Yeah,
the wrong
that's
person.
true.
Well, I think it also helped too that like she, I grew up with her and she was Hmong as well.
Oh, I didn't know.
So,
Aw.
but yeah. So when when she passed the note back, I was reading and she's like, "Did you start your period?" And I was like,
Aw, so cute. Wait, I don't know why it just came to my mind. Like I'm thinking of like the little Asian girl from Turning Red, and how like they're being. She was like that made me think of that. Aw.
"Yeah." But yeah, no. So I was able to share with my best friend, and she was like, "Oh my god."
Uh-huh.
She's like, "So does that mean I'm going to start soon too?" And I'm like, "I don't know. It just depends on your body, I guess."
Uh-huh.
So, but yeah, I got my period before her, and so she was like excited for me. And then once she got her period, we would always like watch each other's backs to make sure like we don't leak or whatever.
That's how you know you got a real friend over
That's
there.
from that TikTok where like, am I cool? Or am I good?
No, they go, can you check?
Can
or
you
something.
check
Yeah,
like that? And
check?
then like half of the people have like no clue what they're talking about, except for the girls.
not
They're like,
'cause-
yeah, you good?
You good?
If they don't know what you're talking about, it's not for you. First of all,
I think they did that with the guys.
I know.
Can you check? And they're
Yeah.
just like, check what?
So yeah, so I was lucky enough to have like a good experience of starting my period.
Oh.
So I mean, I know a lot of little girls don't have that.
No.
But like Anna says, don't feel bad. It's normal. Every person who has a uterus goes through it. It sucks because, cramps are not fun. Bleeding is not fun.
Yeah, actually, that
So.
reminds me of a fun little fact I'm going to throw in now.
Okay. Okay.
Well, did you know that you can have your period on average for 40 years?
Wait, say that again?
On average, your period can last for 40 years. Like, not 40 years straight, but you'll have it for 40 years.
Oh, although you meant like it was.
Like, how should I
Constant.
I thought you meant like
40
constant bleeding for 40
No,
years.
that
I'm
means
like,
that you have
oh.
medical issues.
Yeah.
But no, how I should reframe it.
I was gonna be
Somebody on
like-
the show.
That's a lot of blood you're losing.
Your active
No.
years?
Yeah, your active menstrual cycle will be like on average
About 40
years.
Yes.
Oh.
So
Wow.
yeah, that's a fun little fact in there. Boop.
Yes. Boop. But but yes, to those of you out there who have uteruses, it is totally normal. It is not taboo. If the people around you, make it that way, go find somebody else to talk to. Because they don't deserve to make you feel like that, because it's not your fault that you were born with a uterus. It's just part of who you are. It's normal. Everybody who has one goes through it.
And men, don't shame women, please. Okay?
Yes, men
That's
as well.
the shitty part.
Mhm.
Okay.
Yeah, don't get me started on that too. Oh my gosh.
Yeah,
But
educate yourself, men.
Yeah.
Ask a fellow female friend. or your mom even, you know? So just educate yourself that way. If like one of your friends who are girls say, you know, if you notice that like she either leaked or started her period, you know, help her out, help cover her up.
That would be such a
pull her.
That would such a turn on if a guy would be like, "Hey, you're leaking. Here's my sweater. Tie it around your waist." You'll be like, "Oh my god."
Yeah, don't make it a
Yeah.
big deal. Don't embarrass them. Just pull them to the side. We're like, hey, you know, just so you know, you're leaking a little bit. So here, you know, yeah. So and girls support girls. If you see a girl
Yes.
leaking, say something.
Somebody in 8th grade did that to me. A random girl that I didn't know, but it wasn't because I leaked. It was because it was like a white jean skirt that I wore, and I did leak in it previously, but I washed it out, right? But I guess there was still like a little bit of a color on it, and so when I wore it again, she pulled me aside and was like, "Hey, just letting you know, I think you're leaking in the back."
How
nice. Yeah, and I was like, "Oh my god, you're so sweet. I am not on my period. It's just a stain." But thank you.
You were so sweet. Tell me no.
Yeah, I don't remember who she was, but she was a like a little Hispanic girl, and her friends told me. They pulled me aside and told me.
See,
Yeah,
That's so sweet.
being kind.
yeah.
Women supporting
take
women.
that extra mile and be kind.
Yeah. That actually reminds me of this one time. I think it was like freshman, sophomore year. I remember sitting at it. It was during lunch, sitting at a table with my friends, and there was like another table next to us, and it was like a group of girlfriends as well. And the girl was sitting back towards us, she was kind of a thicker girl. She was a little chubbier. And she had that body figure to where, like, you know, sometimes like plumber's crack happens sometimes. Yeah. So yeah, that was happening, and you could see her underwear, and then you can also see the pad.
Oh,
You know,
girl.
so I was like, oh my god,
Somebody save
Yeah,
her.
so I had to do it because I don't think anybody else noticed, or if anybody did notice, they didn't say anything.
You know
my
us. We
God.
noticed every little detail.
Yeah, so I got up and I like stood behind her, and I was like, hey, just so you know, it's like your panties are showing. You know, so it's like you might want to go fix that or something. So
What did she say?
she's all like, oh my god, thank you so much, that's so embarrassing. And I was just like, yeah, you might want to cover yourself up and, like, you know, go adjust. Yes,
See, that's so sweet.
yes, be nice. You know,
Yeah.
it's not hard, it doesn't take much.
Wow.
But yeah, that's my experience.
Well, that's good to hear. And I also wanted to know how your mom brought up, like, having your menstrual cycle.
She didn't.
She didn't at all?
She didn't do
Nope.
anything.
Oh, okay. That's
I
what
do know
wanted
that
to
she yelled
ask.
at me one time because in that class in 5th grade, they teach you how to put it on and they teach you how to take it off, right? They
Yeah.
don't teach you how to dispose of it correctly.
Yes.
Oh.
So I never threw it in the toilet. Ladies, do not throw any sanitary products in the toilet.
No sanitary napkins.
It does
that's
not
what it's
dissolve.
called. Yeah.
Okay, tampons,
Tampons
pads,
especially? No.
Yeah, tampons, pads, panty liners. Do
Just
not
be
throw it
safe
in
and
the
throw it in
toilet.
the trash to be safe.
Treat it like a
So-
baby diaper.
Yeah, and so what I did is I took it off and I rolled it up, right? Because you roll it up, ladies.
Yeah.
Okay, like a burrito. You roll
Yes.
it up, and then I kind of just threw it away into the trash like that, right?
Oh.
But my mom saw it and she was all like, "Hey, next time when you do that, when you roll it up, wrap it in toilet paper, so that way nothing comes out, and that way I guess the people who are changing the trash don't see a bloody pad, pretty much."
Oh, yeah. It's kind of like a sanitary thing, too.
Yeah.
You know, just to kind of protect them. Not saying that, like, your blood is gross, but it's just...
It's biohazardous.
Yeah, it's biohazardous.
Yeah.
It's bodily fluids.
Yeah.
So, yes.
That's the Asian in me, I should say, like my mom taught me to wrap it in the old wrapper. So I never throw away the old wrapper that it came in, and I rewrap it in there. That's how I do it.
Oh,
So when I'm
So you carry the wrapper?
no, I don't have it with me. I have extra pads, so I use those.
So you use
Whatever I
the
have.
new pads.
Yeah.
wrapper.
Oh, okay.
So whatever wrapper I have
okay.
with me, whether it be changing it or whatever, sometimes I do keep it depending on what's
Oh.
going on. I just open it back up because it's still sticky, you know, on the little tab, and then I
Right.
just wrap it like a little burrito, you know, and then I just put it back in there and in the wrapper, and I wrap it back up, and I just toss it in there. So
Oh.
Asian and cheap.
I've done that before.
I've done
Yeah.
that a few times. Yeah.
Because recently when I had my period, I was like, "Don't throw this away, Mike. I need it." And he goes, "Why?" And I was like, "Just leave it. Leave the wrapper." And he's like, "Okay." I'm like, "Leave it," because I don't want to waste toilet paper.
Yeah.
So that's what I do, personally.
Because sometimes for me, especially when like at work, since I don't like going to the women's bathroom, I like my individual bathroom.
Yeah, I understand.
So I go in there, and so since everybody goes in there, I have to make sure I wrap it in toilet paper all correctly for it's so that way it just looks like a wad of toilet paper.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I throw it into the trash. For some reason, in the girls' bathroom, they have like that weird bin with like the brown bag.
Oh, yeah.
That's what it's for.
I know, but sometimes some girls, for some reason, they'll just throw their pad into that brown bag and leave the brown bag in the tin. And I'm like, I don't think that's the way you do it. I think you're supposed to take out the bag, put your thingy in it, and then throw the bag away, right?
I don't know.
I don't know.
No
I
idea.
didn't-
See,
This is why we need to talk about stuff like this.
I don't know. That's what I do. I take the bag out, and then I put it in, and I throw the bag away.
Oh, I usually just wrap
just-
it like normal and
I
stick
throw
it in there.
Yeah, like it all
figure-
depends if there's a bag. If there's not a bag, then usually I roll it.
Yeah.
I don't know. We're
Or
going to
some-
find this
yeah,
mystery
see?
out later. This is why we need to talk about stuff like this.
Yeah, or they have the random tin, and then a bunch of
Let me
girls
just
again
look
will
it
just
up.
throw a bunch of their products into that
When
tin.
you see the brown bag, is it also inside like a clear bag?
No, sometimes it's
Just
just
by
a
itself.
brown bag or like multiple brown bags in it, and so I'm like, I
Oh,
don't
if
know
it's
what to
multiple,
do.
then
Then I take
that
it if
makes
it's
sense.
multiple.
Oh, usually I just see one brown bag and like not the typical plastic bag. So I just figured maybe they're just using that as the trash bag. So I just roll mine up and stick it in there.
Yeah, see, I don't know. Because I've seen it where it's like there for like days. And I'm like, I'm going to go throw it away over here. So I just always wrap it in toilet paper and then throw it in the trash.
That is a good question.
Yeah, because I don't know.
Or like sometimes when you're in the stall and like you see the
I don't know.
The sanitary
That's something
pad
I don't
box
know. Can
thing.
you guys comment below? Let us know if you
I
know.
don't know.
Yeah, if you know.
If not, let's figure it out together. That's what this is for.
at least
So.
the bin's there, because sometimes when you're in the bathroom, that whole bin is missing.
Well, see, my mom used to be a janitor, so I never thought to ask her.
Yeah. I don't
So,
know.
but to me, logically, I would think that they would, like, whoever's cleaning it would take it out because there's only one bag. But anyway. Wow. Yeah, but anyway, back to the whole rolling like a burrito. Yeah, that's what I do. I put it back in the wrapper, whatever I have. I always keep if I
I'm gonna
can.
need you to show us this. Oh, let's do.
Yeah, I could show a demonstration. Does
Okay,
anybody have
yeah,
a pad?
Let me go grab some.
Yeah. No.
Don't worry, I'll put it back together so you can. Oh. And we are back here. So, yeah. Determined. Okay, you are back from retrieving the items. Okay, so if my lovely assistant Molly can hand me a pad here so I can show you. So what I was saying was like you'll have
Maybe they don't know what pads. Maybe they don't. know
Oh
what
yeah.
it is.
So
Show
for
'em,
those
yeah.
that have not menstruated yet, so
or men, guys,
Whoever.
Or for
yeah,
men.
boys.
Yes.
yeah, that's what I say. Anyone who
Oh.
menstruates.
Oh,
Yeah.
sorry. Yes.
It's okay. Anyone who
I mean, like educating. Men.
Oh, men too. Yes.
yeah. Men.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Anybody and everyone for all. So, if you want to know, these are pods. Oops. Sorry.
Fine.
And these are what we're talking about. Let's just talk about what the items are called. Molly, you want my model? Those are panty liners. Molly, when do we use those?
With the tampon. I've seen some with tampons, and I've seen
Mm-hmm.
people use it when they're light.
Yes.
They're
So
very, very
those are
light.
very, very thin, and in a moment we'll open it so you can see. But those are what people use when they're very light on their period, and then like their flow isn't that crazy. And then
Or when you're like at the end of your
Oh,
menstruation, and then it's just like little bits of spotting.
Yes.
You don't want to mess your underwear up. You put one of those.
yes.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
But yeah, I've seen people also use it with tampons too. So.
Yes.
Yeah, tampons. But yeah, so those are pads, tampons, and panty liners. And then what I was talking about earlier is how I wrap it when I'm done. So, this little sticky flap. I don't know if you can see it. There's a little white tab here. Open it. Okay, so And then you open it like this. Okay, this is how the pad looks like. Most of them comes with wings. Some don't. I think we all like wings.
Yeah.
Yes.
Mom didn't have any. She didn't like the wings. and
I like
she-
wings because they hold on to the underwear better. So basically, this is what it would look like, and it's always sticky on the underside. So if you, and there's just a little middle piece here you'll rip off where the wings are, but you'll take it off on the back. You hear it? This is what people always want to, this is some ASMR. That's what,
I was trying to see if they caught it or not.
so anyway, that's like, so I don't throw this away. This is what I'm talking about, the wrapper here, okay? Because I can refold it, put it in there, because I'm Asian and I'm cheap and I don't want to use toilet paper. So I keep this, okay? And then this is the pad. This is what like a typical conventional pad will look like. And in the middle, if you have wings, you'll take off this little flap right here. My nails are sticking.
Well, I personally put it on the underwear first, where you
Yeah,
want
I
to
put
put
on
it
the-
on.
that's
I put
what
on the
you do?
under- I put on
Yeah.
the
See,
underwear
there's different
first.
ways. There's
Yeah.
no wrong way
Yeah.
of putting it on. So you guys like to just go ahead and
Put it on
on
first.
put it on.
Put it on your panties.
And then,
We take off.
yeah, my hand would be the vagina.
Yeah.
It's the
Your
underwear,
hand is
honey.
the underwear.
Oh, my
Underwear.
underwear, yeah.
Yes.
that will hurt,
Okay,
honey.
so
Don't put it on.
kind of tilt your hand a little bit. There we go.
Okay, there you go.
Yeah,
Don't put it on your bare vagina. Just kidding. This is the underwear.
Okay, and so the wings, you would basically wrap it around and under your underwear. That way, it'll be secure and also protect the sides of your panties.
Over spillage.
Yeah. For
So watch. This is
overspillage.
going to be the underside of the pad. We'll flip it over.
Yeah.
Okay? So it's
Well,
going to stick.
Technically, this should be a little bit further so you can see it. But
Yeah.
yeah, you get the idea. This is supposed to go
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
around your underwear. So
Yep.
And then the front part is a little bit shorter than the back part. So that's how you
Yes.
can tell.
It's more narrow towards the
Yeah.
front, and then the back side where it's prone to have spillage is where, whatever flows and spills can go in the back.
But honestly, I think it's more the front for me.
Me too. I think it depends on how you're anatomically designed. So
and your flow.
yes.
Whether you're
Yeah.
heavy or
I mean, there's so
light.
many variables, but that's why we were talking about like how you can check. You ask your friends to check for you if you're leaking, because no matter what, these darn things can always still leak.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
That's
like
true.
when I leak, it's usually the front because like when you sneeze, you're like chill, and then it's like mine goes upwards,
Yeah.
Yes.
not instead of downwards.
Uh-huh.
But that's just me.
Anyway, so that's how you will install a pad onto your underwear. And we always talk about like the, granny panties, because those are more comfortable and they're the easiest to install a pad on. So back to what I was saying, how I wrap it is like when I'm done, okay, because I'm going to wash my hands after, and it sounds gross to some people, but it's just
Yeah.
your period, your uterus lining. So you're okay. So we're going to just go like this, and then I like to just roll it back up like a little burrito. You say, okay, just go ahead and,
Yeah. Just
Yeah,
okay.
no, good.
oh, it's clean, so I didn't want to waste it. So we just like to roll it like this, however, and then I take the old wrapper, don't throw it away, and I go like this, and then I just go, wee, wrap it, and then it's still sticky on the other side. And then I just go, and I just toss it out.
Oh.
Yep. That's what I do.
That's basically what I do with toilet paper.
Yeah.
Sometimes I do that if I still see the wrapper in the trash can.
I don't throw it away because of that specific reason. So, like, you'll know that I'm on my period if there's one laying around.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Anyway, so that. And then you throw this away, don't flush this.
No
Okay?
flushing.
Mm-hmm.
Any of that.
Yes.
Yeah.
And also, men out there that you see these in the trash, don't shame them. Okay?
Yeah.
Maybe they need chocolate. Maybe they need a hug. Maybe
Yeah.
they need you to leave them the fuck alone. Right?
Yeah.
Every
Yes.
girl's different, so
Yeah, every girl's different. I also want to point out with the pads,
Yes.
they come in different sizes, different lengths,
Different flows.
and in different flows, meaning like thickness. So there's some that are thin like this, and then there are some that are
The maxi.
way thicker, and they look like and feel like diapers.
Literally this thick.
Yeah, they'll look like super thick like this. So a lot of times, some girls will like to wear the thicker ones at night because you're sleeping. But that
Thicker
isn't
and the
me.
longer ones.
Oh yeah, thicker and
Oh,
longer
yes.
ones.
in the back.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because you're sleeping, you're rolling around or whatever, so you want to be, if you want to be extra safe, that's what a lot of girls do. So, but yeah, so this is just one of the few sizes that they have. There's also different brands, so you just kind of have to find out what works for you.
Panty liners work the same as
The
pads.
pads.
You just peel it off in the back, stick it on your underwear.
They just
where-
don't have wings, right?
They
'Cause-
don't have wings,
Yeah.
yeah. But they're shorter, so it's just where your vagina.
Yeah, where your
Hole-
vagina
hole
opening
is?
is.
Just
Yeah.
a little pocket, the little underwear, the
Yeah.
little sewing section.
Oh,
thing.
yeah.
Well, for me,
Yeah.
for some reason, those
Some of
do not
those-
work like that.
Yeah,
for me.
some of them
Uh-huh.
aren't sewed in
Yeah,
the right.
correct
Well, yeah,
spot
but like
spots.
around that area, you
Yeah.
just kind of have to adjust it where you're.
It's just where you will discharge your lining, basically.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is where it fits just right.
Yeah. And then tampons.
Does anybody want to demonstrate how those work?
these. Oh, I always avoid these.
So I'm not a tampon wearer. I only wear it whenever we go swimming or
I
something.
used to be an avid tampon
Oh.
wearer.
No.
For me, I feel like I need everything to fall out. And I
Yeah.
feel like the tampon kind of just
Keeps it in.
Yeah, it keeps it in, and I don't like that. So of course you take off the tampon, you open it.
Dang, you do it so nicely. I just go. Like I just,
Oh no, yeah, no, I open it like that.
Oh, I thought you
comes
meant
out.
like inserting it. I'm like,
no! Like I'll just pull it like through the bottom. I'll just go like this, like it's here, and I'll just go.
Oh yeah,
so
no.
that-
I don't do it
oh
that
no,
way.
I don't do that.
Well, this is how the tampon looks like. Okay, it's plastic. I recommend get the plastic ones, not the wood ones.
The
wood
cardboard.
Ones, yeah,
Cardboard.
the cardboard ones.
Those
they hurt.
hurt.
Those are cheap and they hurt. Okay,
Yeah.
might as well splurge on the plastic one.
Mm-hmm.
So the idea of a tampon, it goes up your hole. Okay, it plugs up that hole. Is what the tampon is for.
Like we need like an anatomy thingy.
Yeah. And so say
Ooh,
my
maybe we can insert.
Yeah,
one.
insert a picture here somewhere of an
Yeah.
anatomy.
So this goes into your hole, and so you have to, if it's your first time, you kind of have to feel around down there. Sorry, feel around down there, and feel where that hole.
I
is.
recommend
Okay.
having a mirror.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, if you can, and it helps. Sometimes it helps if you sit
Oh
to
yeah.
install it.
Oh yeah.
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 Yeah. So you feel around, find that hole. That's the only big hole besides your butthole.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Okay. So find
Not
that
the
hole
smaller
down
upper
there.
hole, but the other one below.
You'll see it when we have that picture,
Yeah.
so you
Yeah.
can see.
So what you do is once you find that hole, you're gonna take the tampon. I personally like to
I angle it. I don't know
hold
if you
it like
do.
this.
Mhm.
In between my fingers like this, like a peace sign, hold it in between. And then you sit down and you kind of do this underneath yourself and you kind of push the big bulb part up into your hole.
All
Okay.
the way in.
All the way in. And then once you do that, once that's securely in your hole, you get the bottom part here, the small stick, and you push it up. Once
Wait,
you-
can you clarify how far up you put it in? Because you know how they don't know how far to install it.
I usually put at least at the bigness, this whole thing here.
The
Yeah.
whole.
Whoa!
I'm
Technical-
so sorry.
Technical
I
difficulties.
think the whole thick part of the
Yeah.
tampon.
Okay.
Yeah, sometimes with me, I don't like putting it all the way up. Sometimes I just like it to have enough to where the
The cotton.
goes up,
Yes.
and then once I push it up, the cotton will go up into your hole, and then you'll be able to take the plastic out like
And
this.
then discard the plastic.
So this string should be what's hanging out of your vagina.
Make sure it's hanging
okay?
out.
Make sure it's hanging
Yes.
out. Don't lose it. Okay.
You're gonna be having a scavenger hunt.
Yeah, if you lose it and you can't find it, if it gets lost, if it's too high, you may have to go to the doctor and have them take it out for you, or unless you
Unless
can
you have
go
a-
up there and find it yourself.
Or have a brave enough friend to come and help you.
Yeah,
Whichever one you're comfortable
Yes.
with.
yeah. But yeah, so this whole cotton bud should be up at your vagina. What I like to do sometimes to make sure it's up there is I will sit there and I'll pat down there to make sure that it's all up in my vagina. And
Not-
the string is just the only thing that's coming out. And then that's how you wear the tampon. I recommend you wear the tampon maybe depending on how heavy you are, but the tampon is not like a pad where it will absorb a lot. Tampons, you have to change it out frequently because there's a thing called
toxic shock syndrome,
yes,
and
which
you
is-
could literally lose your limbs.
yeah, which
Or
is
your
really
life.
bad.
Yeah, or your life.
Don't
too.
forget to put a panty liner underneath too. That can also help you educate when to change.
Yeah, and then when you're done in the bathroom, all you do is pull the string, and then it should pop right out.
You know that
It's,
it's not ready.
a bit messy.
Yeah.
It can be a little bit messy.
Yeah.
It's gonna look bigger than it was
But
before.
you know, oh yeah, because once it hits the period blood, it will just like expand.
Right.
But it should come out easy. It's not gonna like
Mm-hmm.
rip anything.
You
if
may
it's
like
dry.
struggle a little bit.
Only if it's dry.
Yeah, if it's dry.
And then usually with this,
You just-
sometimes I will just wrap it in toilet paper again and then throw it away. Or sometimes if I'm putting a new tampon on, I know it's kind of gross, but I will stick this tube back into here, into the wrapping, and then also sometimes this back into the wrapping too, if it fits. And then I would wrap it up in toilet paper and then throw it away.
But there are those also tampons that are small. Remember,
Yeah.
the ones that are they just come like this. Like
Oh, yeah.
that's it.
Dang, that's teeny.
Well, the reason why they come like that is because you have to twist it and then pull out.
yeah.
you have to,
I've
like,
used
twist
those.
it or
Oh,
pull it
okay.
out,
Yeah,
and
I've
then,
used
like,
those before.
It'll like click to like here, and then it gives you the option.
You can
to
hear it.
push
Yeah.
yeah.
Click when to extend out the bottom
Yeah.
part.
Yeah.
Wow.
And then there's also if you don't want to use any of this stuff because technically this stuff is disposable. There's
Yes.
non-disposable methods
as
as well. The most well-known one is the Flex cup, which basically is kind of like a tampon. It's like a rubber cup, medicine cup kind of thing, and you stick it up your vagina again.
They like you. It literally looks like a cup that's like silicone, I think it is, and then you like pinch it, and then you insert it, and then you let it go, and it will like stay like a cup there.
and it
It will
just
catch everything.
yep, it'll just collect
There's
your
like a little
menstrual blood.
nipple or nub at the end, and you're supposed to be able to just kind of like go in there, pinch it again, and pull it back out. We don't use it at all.
Because we're heavy flowers.
That's not gonna work for me.
Yeah, and I think like you pinch it out and then you pour it into the toilet and then you wash it,
rinse
and
it, and then you put it back in. Yeah,
I was just gonna say how you're gonna wash it in
You
the
just
bathroom stall.
into the
yeah. and
you
the-
go to the
Yeah.
sink.
I've
Yeah.
strongly considered wanting to use the reusable pads, the ones that you could just like that are like cloth diapers.
Yeah.
Because they are cheaper, and then it's like sanitary and all that stuff too. So
Environmentally friendly.
yes, they are eco-friendly. So yeah,
But yeah, so that's how you use these
different products.
products for everybody. Okay.
so just talking about pads, and I guess I should probably talk about my first experience
go.
too. So if you have any questions about those products, please comment below if you are watching us on YouTube, or even reply back to us in Spotify too. But again, to explain my experience, the first time I got my period, well, I should probably back up a little bit. My mom did explain our periods to us, but like not in depth. Just said, oh, when you're of age, huh?
Very briefly.
Yes, very briefly. So she just said something along the lines of, when you're of age, you'll get your period, and there's pads and all that stuff, kind of like what we just went through. And so I remember specifically when I got mine, it was like I was in 6th grade. And we were watching a movie, and I was having stomach pains, and I was like, oh, this feels weird. I don't think I need to poop, but it feels like I need to poop, right? So I want to say, like, my mom and I are pretty close to where, like, I can just tell her anything. So I asked my teacher to go to the bathroom because I was like, something's wrong. So I went to the bathroom, and then I looked at my underwear, and I was like, oh my God, I started, and I looked at my underwear. And then I went to back to the class, and then I called my mom, and I was like, I started my period. And she goes, and? I was like, oh, I thought I'd just let you know I started my period, because I'm the oldest daughter in my family, so I'm the first one to get it. And so whatever I get and I will do, it's all on my own. So I was like, okay. And then I ended up just telling my teacher, who luckily was a female teacher, and then she gave me pads. But that was my experience for my period.
Okay.
Yeah.
very calm, not dramatic.
I was screaming on the inside, but not like
Right.
that. It was just more
Yeah.
of like, oh my God, I don't have anything.
Oh.
Yeah. But like, it wasn't like I was freaking out too bad because my mom kind of like prepped us a little bit. So, yeah. So, how are we good on time?
55 minutes.
Oh, really?
We're at 55, yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, my little thingy isn't too bad, but so that's my first experience as getting my period, and I wanted to talk about what our experiences were with getting our period and everything, because there's not just that in itself. We don't even have that much knowledge of what we're supposed to know, like how to track your period, how to what to look out for, right?
Like, when are your safe days?
Yeah,
all that
right.
Stuff. I don't know any of that
And then when you
stuff.
say safe days, can you explain?
So safe days is, so how your whole period works is basically, scientific wise, the egg in your ovaries is leaving your ovaries, therefore it's shedding the lining of your ovaries.
And
kind
by
of
the way,
thing.
that's the process of that is called ovulation. Fun fact.
Yes. So how you get pregnant is the like other way around, where like the sperm goes in, fertilizes the egg, right, and then that gets stuck onto your uterus lining. Okay. So basically, your ovulating means that whole uterus lining is coming out.
Yeah.
So if there's like no eggs or whatever, or sperm, stuff like that, that's attached to it, it'll all come out, kind of thing. Okay. So your safe days is basically like, there's a certain time period between your, I don't know how to explain this correctly. You explain this, Shell.
Okay, I want to go back and reiterate what you two
Yes.
said about the ovulating thing
Yes.
and the
Yeah.
uterus shedding. Okay, ovulating is when your ovaries release an egg.
Yes.
Okay, and that's when it's floating through your fallopian tube, waiting for a sperm to come fertilize it.
Yes.
If that doesn't happen, the egg will just drop into the uterus, and then it'll shed out with the rest of your uterine
We
lining.
need another like stock image
Okay.
of the anatomy.
So just to clear that up, I don't want to confuse anybody. And then
Yes.
the safe days that my sister or that Melissa was talking about is basically the days after the last day of your period, that you can't get pregnant. I mean, I can't say can't, but
Less
less
likelihood.
less likelihood to get pregnant because your body is not in get pregnant mode.
Yeah.
Okay.
There you go.
It's not when you're fertile.
Yes, not what. Yes, that's the word. Yes, it's the time. It's that time period where your body is not fertile, and that's usually starting from the last day of your period to about, I think, 10 to 14 days after the end of your period. So usually about the first week and a half to 2 weeks are your safe periods where your body's not ovulating yet. So usually so the days that you need to look out for being fertile, whether you're trying to avoid it or if you're trying to get pregnant, is usually a week before you start your period.
But if you have irregular periods,
Yes, if you have
It's
irregular
hard to
periods,
count.
it's
Yeah.
harder.
Which is
So-
why I was wanting to talk about my PCOS and then like other girls that suffer with PCOS.
yeah.
Because in a regular menstrual cycle, you're supposed to be able to release an egg and everything. But with PCOS, what happens is, like I said, it's an imbalance of your hormones. And so if it doesn't, I think it's like to the point where you can't even develop an egg to release, or the egg doesn't like drop at all. It just stays there. And then that in turn creates cysts, which is why it's called polycystic ovarian syndrome, because you get like a whole bunch of them. And then you get what's called ring of pearls, and it's all these like
What's a cyst?
it's a cyst is like technically it's
Like boils?
no, it's technically the cysts are when the follicles, because there's so much that when you have PCOS. Follicles are what, when you look at the videos and like animation of them showing how the process of getting pregnant works, that's what moves things through the fallopian tubes and like
Okay.
stuff and pushes it.
Right.
So it's like follicles like hair. So basically, like the follicles somehow turn into cysts because it's not working. Basically, so like I guess it's just like.
Are you talking about with
stuck?
The cysts are within the tubes or within the ovaries?
Within the ovaries.
Okay, I think you're kind of confused.
Oh, okay.
Your ovaries have follicles
Inside there too.
That's how they transfer the egg into
and push
it into the fallopian tube.
Yeah.
Yeah. So what she's talking about is the little follicles that are supposed to release the eggs. They don't release the eggs.
They're just kind of stuck there.
Yeah, they're just stuck there, so they kind of just
form together and
become cysts, which are like fluid-filled sacs.
So it's kind of like a pimple,
like a boil.
Yeah, kind of like a little pimple,
like an ingrown hair, and it kind of just stays there.
It just stays there, and it can be painful if it does rupture, and you can feel it too when it ruptures, or sometimes you just don't feel it. But yeah, so with PCOS, you get like a whole bunch of those, and that's what they're called, the ring of pearls. Because when you get an ultrasound, it's like you literally see that it's stuck together like ring of pearl,
like a
ring of pearls, and they're all stuck together like that. And that's actually one of the indicators. So again, with PCOS, how do they know that you get PCOS? You have to meet like two of the so many conditions, they say, and one is an irregular cycle, which I have, and then the other one is high levels of androgen, which is like the male hormones, and then the third one is you have cysts, like one of those, right? So I have all three of those.
For me, they thought that I probably had PCOS too at one point.
Yeah,
because I had high levels of testosterone.
Androgen.
Yeah, which means I'm a man, more of a man. But yeah, I had high levels of testosterone. I did get a pretty bad cyst one time because I started spotting and bleeding when I already started my period for that month, and that was irregular for me. And it was spotting for about 3 weeks. It wouldn't stop. And so I went to the doctor, and they did an ultrasound, and they're like, yeah, you have a pretty big cyst that's up there. And so that's when I got put on birth control to help with that.
Okay.
And then she was all like, but you have your periods pretty frequently, right? And I was like, yeah, I do. I have usually about every month, every 30 days, I'll have a period usually. And so she was like, so technically we can't really put you as PCOS because technically you don't, I guess, fill out the entire symptoms or like most of the symptoms of PCOS, but there could be a chance.
Yeah, so you gotta like watch yourself basically. Yeah, so when, and then like the research I found on womenshealth.org, they were saying most women don't find out that they have PCOS until they're in their like 20s or 30s or near the age that they're trying to conceive. So I knew something was wrong, but I wanted to make sure that since, Mike and I got married a little later, that if we were ready to have kids, like we won't have any problems. So I got tested. The best way to test is if you get your blood work done. And they tested my blood, and then like a couple weeks later I got a phone call, and they were like, oh yeah, so you definitely have PCOS. And they kind of scared me on the phone because they're like, now you need to be careful and manage your PCOS, because if you don't, then you'll get cancer.
Wow.
Basically. Okay.
It wasn't verbatim, but that's what they said.
Yeah.
Right. So I'm like, oh my God, I'm gonna die. So everybody that has PCOS can, sympathize with me. It's like very stressful, very depressing. But yeah, so that's how I found out, was through the blood work and everything. But yeah, I can say that I could probably go deeper into part 2 of this episode. So we'll probably stop here. And if you want to listen more about PCOS and kind of like about fertility stuff like that, we'll go into that. But yeah, so this will be it for part 1. So yeah, see you next time.
Okay,
bye.